India's banking sector will play a pivotal role in its journey to becoming a $5 trillion economy. While on this journey, a key goal of our financial institutions is to bridge the gap between urban India and rural Bharat in terms of access and affordability of capital. By harnessing cutting-edge technologies, adopting innovative banking practices, and optimizing capital for Indian enterprises, the next stage of banking transformation will need banking for Bharat. And that's the theme of the second edition of Nucleus Software presents CNBC-TV18 Banking Transformation Summit. Hello and welcome to the curtain raiser. I'm Mridu Bhandari. As we look towards the next stage of banking evolution, a critical question is if the focus should now primarily be on addressing the diverse needs of consumers across Bharat to ensure financial inclusion. In fact, Bharat's opportunities extend beyond just retail banking, encompassing large-scale funding for infrastructure, renewable energy and electric mobility, amongst others. In the run-up to the CNBC-TV18 Banking Transformation Summit to be held in Mumbai later this month, today I'm in conversation with Vishnu R Dusad, the co-founder and MD of Nucleus Software, a pioneer of financial technology software for over 3 decades now. And we are going to deep dive into banking for Bharat and its many unique challenges and opportunities. Welcome, Vishnu. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Curtain Raiser episode of Banking Transformation Summit. Well, it's been quite transformational for India in the last couple of years. We've seen over 500 million new bank accounts being opened, especially after the Jan Dhan Yojana of the government. Digital transactions have surged to over 100% in the last couple of years. Now, as we look at the next stage of the evolution of banking in India, how important is it for us to think about Bharat, the needs of the diverse consumers of Bharat, and going forward, do you think this should be the primary focus of all institutions and us as a nation?
Absolutely, Mridu. This is the juncture where we have achieved something which as a system, as an economy, we should be proud of. I think we are in terms of the quality of our public digital infrastructure, we are clearly number one in the world, and that ensures that we have a stable system, and that is also a foundation for creating a system which would take us to the next level. By leveraging the billion transactions that you talked about per day, a kind of momentum that we are already in, by next year hopefully we will be reaching billion transactions per day. By leveraging the information that comes out of those transactions, we would be able to reach the bottom of the pyramid, the micro enterprises, which are 50 million of them, and ensure that they get credit at a low interest rate as against the extremely high interest rate that they have to pay, and build an economy which would be at $5 trillion, and by 2047, when we reach the century, we hopefully should be in the vicinity of $25 to $30 trillion economy.
Right, you just spoke about 2047, and it is the government's ambitious agenda to reach a Viksit Bharat or a developed India by 2047. So, when you look at the key challenges in achieving that, especially from a banking lens, what would those be?
Some of the most interesting challenges that we are going to face when we are taking banking to Bharat is hyper personalization of the interface that banks have with the consumers. Today we are talking about almost 100 different languages that our consumers are familiar with. Even within one language there are different tones,
different dialects
that we talk about. So, when we improve our systems to talk to the consumer in her or his dialect, the ability of the consumer to connect with this banking system is going to be of a different variety. So, this is just one example of the next set of challenges that we are going to have. When we are doing hyper personalization, again we will need to be clear about the sensitivities that specific cultural segment is going to have, and whether our systems are going to cater to those sensitivities or not. When we address some of these challenges jointly, I think we will be able to see far deeper and far wider and far faster adoption of banking by the Bharat.
And at Nucleus Software, how are you enabling banks and financial institutions to leverage this opportunity to the fullest?
We are ensuring that the technologies that we make available to our customers are most robust, scalable and comprehensible. It is important that all these three aspects are taken care of, because robustness is fundamental of any financial system, and that is what we provide a sharp focus on. Scalability, it is required for our size of economy, and comprehensibility is something that we will need to make sure that our rural populations are able to appreciate what these latest technologies are doing.
Right. And you have a broad set of offerings for a range of financial institutions, right from microfinance institutions to payments banks, as well as conventional small banks. So, when you design offerings for this whole range of financial institutions, do these allow for a certain degree of interconnectedness, a certain degree of interoperability across different categories of financial institutions? And how important is collaboration then in this particular scenario, especially now that we are seeing banks, fintechs, various NBFCs, etc., collaborating to serve the unbanked and the underbanked better?
That is a brilliant question, Mridu, because today as of now the collaboration amongst the segments of banks or segments of financial institutions is rather limited. Microfinance institutions, they do not talk to the banks as much, or for that matter the middle segment banks, they do not talk to the large banks as much as they should be, whereas for them to serve the society, to serve the bottom of the pyramid, it is important that they increase this collaboration. For example, if I am a shopkeeper in a remote village and I am borrowing from one institution, it is important that the other institutions also know that I have borrowed from one institution, so that I do not over borrow by going to other institutions, and I am able to repay back my loan in a timely manner. So, collaboration becomes increasing collaboration becomes a absolutely critical piece in transforming the banking for the next couple of decades.
Right. And what is the biggest challenge in achieving this interconnectedness between institutions?
I think conversations between the segments of institutions and our central bank RBI playing a role would make these collaboration happen. RBI has played a very important role by in setting up NPCI, and look where NPCI has taken the economy to, and similar role RBI can play in bringing these diverse institutions together and make sure that this collaboration increases.
Right. How will going forward, NBFCs, fintechs, how will all of these organizations manage the juxtaposition of increasing regulation and striking that balance with the need for increasing innovation? Because a lot of startup founders particularly feel that a lot of regulation cuts down on the innovation. So, what is that optimum balance? You are someone who started up more than 3 decades ago, of course, in much tougher times. The world is an easier place to function in today, but what are your thoughts on that, balancing regulation and innovation?
No, I think I would like to say that RBI is playing a very positive and impressive role in making this balancing happen, because unless we ensure that the regulation is strong enough and implemented adequately, we would have starts and stops, which obviously we do not want to happen. So, RBI has come up with created opportunities where they would want to listen to fintechs, they would want to understand the challenges, and at the same time ensure that the society at large, the poorest of the poor is not fooled around by the oversight that someone might have done in the system.
Right. And a lot of the banking transformation, of course, has happened because of the large scale digital transformation of India, right? Now, when you look at harnessing digital technologies, whether it's artificial intelligence or machine learning or blockchain or any other emerging technology that we can think of today, how critical is it that organizations are also somewhat not operating in silos, but collaborating, because at a national level, this is a momentous task if we want India to reach the $5 trillion economy mark. What are some do's and don'ts on the technology front that you would like to put out there?
One of the most important aspect that I would like to suggest is assuming that the money that we are playing with is your own money. I won't say playing with, but the money that you are handling is your own money. The moment you get that feeling, your ability to think of ways and means by which there will be no risk to the money that the society is depositing in the institution, and then institutions further lend those, there will be the risks would continue to keep going down. Of course, there are players who would want to make use of every single opportunity, but if you assume that it is the money that you are handling and very innovative solutions that you are bringing, if that money is yours, then you will be able to address most of the issues. You cannot assume that I will bring something to the market, but how to ensure that there are no hacks there in that solution, that is not my responsibility, that will not work.
Right. But when it comes to building accurate customer profiles, when it comes to serving hyper personalized products and offerings, what is the role that artificial intelligence and machine learning are playing today? Any examples from Nucleus Software's journey that you can share with us? How are you leveraging emerging technologies in-house?
Leveraging AI and ML is absolutely an integral part of any fintech, and we are equally strong in leveraging those technologies. For example, coming to hyper personalization, the kind of offering that we would be able to, that some of our customers would be able to make to their customers would be allow me to say that would be so personalized that our customers would just love it. They would think, oh, how did my lender think that I needed a loan of this particular variety. So, these are some of the ways we are trying to leverage AI capabilities and machine learning capabilities for our customers.
All right. Well, on that note, we are heading into a short break right now. On the other side, we'll talk about harnessing data, funding infrastructure projects in Bharat, and the roadmap for the future. Stay with us. Welcome back. You are watching the curtain raiser episode of Nucleus Software presents CNBC-TV18 Banking Transformation Summit, and I'm in conversation with Vishnu R Dusad, the co-founder and managing director of Nucleus Software. We are talking about banking for Bharat today, and Vishnu, next up I want to know, as fintech businesses really expand into Bharat, into rural areas, tier 3 towns, they have to also obey, of course, RBI's limits when it comes to tapping into unsecured loans, offering unsecured loans. How do they then balance this need for obviously being in line with regulation and being able to offer hyper personalized credit offerings? They will need to tap into unconventional data sets to build credit profiles, which is one of the biggest challenges when it comes to rural India. What's your way forward for this?
This is a very, very important question that you raised, Mridu. What has happened is over last, I would say, decade, slightly less than a decade, some of these data sets, informal data sets, have been put to misuse by some of the unregulated players, and that has resulted in families getting broken, people going through hardships and major challenges. So, it is important that while we want to make sure that credit is available, but it is regulated and it is done extremely carefully, because if you allow systems to keep lending at a faster pace without checking the returnability of the amount, then you have set foundation for a wrong building to get erected.
Right. Now, Bharat doesn't just present opportunities in retail banking. Today, there is a large scope for financing infrastructure in Bharat when it comes to things like renewable energy, electric mobility. We are obviously talking urban cities, but we are also now starting to talk about rural India. And we are, do you think that indigenous financial institutions can really contribute a lot towards achieving this? And do you believe that they can compete with foreign players in this area?
Certainly, I see no reason whatsoever why our banking industry would not rise to this challenge also, because when it comes to thought about new avenues, I think our banks and our financial institutions are quite ahead, and which we have talked about already. And talking about renewable energies or any other areas of infrastructural development, our institutions would certainly be able to do that, and of course, they are keen to learn as well. So, there could be a lot of collaboration with some of the global players, and a win-win could get created.
Okay, so as we look at the future and we look at the next level of banking transformation in India, what are some of the key trends that you are looking at when it comes to banking for Bharat?
Very, very interesting trends. One of the most important trends I would like to talk about is digital payments. We have moved to a level where we are talking about billion transactions per day in next couple of years, and I see no reason why that would not be happening. And from that, the cash flow based lending is something that that will emerge as a extremely strong trend, because if I am a micro entrepreneur, my ability to create books of account and then create a profit and loss statement or a balance sheet is reasonably close to 0. But based on my transactions, if the system can create that profit and loss statement and balance sheet for my micro business, then financial institutions' ability to lend to me would be very high, and there could be many more opportunities of this nature which would come up. Coming back to other trends, I think hyper personalization is another trend that would really catch up. We have seen hyper personalization happening in urban areas. I think something similar should happen in next few years for literally anyone and everyone, and that again would give a huge boost to businesses at the micro enterprises level.
Right. Right, and 2024 has been an election year, the third term of the Modi government. Any policy wish list that you have as an entrepreneur to make banking more accessible for Bharat?
No, I think the policies that are coming out are very, very meaningful, and I would like to suggest that similar frameworks, similar creativity in those policies that we are experiencing continues and maybe at a higher pace.
Right. Okay. So the pace can definitely always increase when it comes to policy. But we are also at the cusp of the second Banking Transformation Summit that Nucleus Software and CNBC-TV18 are bringing out later this month. What are your expectations from the summit? You were part of the first summit as well. And of course, we had the who's who of policy making and business and banking joining us in Mumbai. We are aiming to take it much higher this time. Your expectations from the event?
Now, this is a very exciting time, I would like to say, because this is where we would be able to discuss and debate some of these within quotes futuristic ideas, but which are in fact required today. And when we interact with each other and explore the possibilities, especially bankers and technologies, you know what can happen. So, that is the expectation, intense interactions, intense exchange of ideas, and I am sure we will play our role in making $5 trillion economy happen.
Right, and hopefully intense action after all the discussions at the summit. Thank you so much, Vishnu, for joining us here today. And of course, we will see you. We will see you at the Banking Transformation Summit. Well, that was Vishnu Dusad, co-founder and MD of Nucleus Software, setting the agenda for the upcoming CNBC-TV18 Banking Transformation Summit and sharing his insights on the future of banking technology and catering to the needs of Bharat. Do join in for the Banking Transformation Summit being held in Mumbai later this month. Until next time, thank you for joining us. Goodbye.